here's the issue, right? A lot of endings in 2019. Game of Thrones coming to an end.
True.
Avengers Endgame.
Don't make me so sad.
Yeah, and then also Star Wars.
Sad face for the rest of my life.
Of this iteration of Star Wars that we know, right? My question,
Rest in peace,
my issue, are we losing sight of the fact that the X-Men franchise, a franchise that kind of kicked off this whole thing, are we losing sight that this is kind of a big ending right here? This is epic, the fact that this is the end of something.
I feel like the producers of the X-Men movie lost sight. That's the problem. They lost sight like 3 movies ago. Or 2 movies, maybe?
I feel like it's been about 3.
It's a bit, yeah. That's why no one cares about the X-Men.
You guys didn't like First Class?
Because
you guys didn't like...
I liked First Class.
I liked First Class, and I liked most of
Age of
Future's
Apocalypse
Past.
was pretty... Oh, no.
Age of
not
Apocalypse
Age of
was
Apocalypse.
hot
I meant
garbage.
Days of Future Past.
Yeah, Days
That
of
was
Future
fun.
Past was great. I just I think it's kind of getting like how they keep doing Spider-Man.
And they jumped the shark.
They just
Yeah.
keep making more and more reboots, and people are like, "Oh, another one."
Like, there's a difference when you lose something and it's been like it wasn't perfect all the way through. Then you like are sad about that loss. But when you have a rocky relationship, I think there are elements that I will miss. Like I will forever miss X2, like that first scene with Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Like to know that there's going to be a world where that doesn't exist is sad. But like because it's been so rocky and up and down with X-Men, I'm happy to see what's new.
All right.
Agreed.
I feel like I've always loved X-Men, especially like since I was a kid. I've always wanted it. I just want to be a mutant. But like, I think that like Spider-Man, this new boot that they have with Tom Holland, I think they finally found a good niche, whereas in X-Men they couldn't. And I don't know who to blame for that, but I really wish that.
I'll tell you who to blame.
Tell me who to blame.
Bryan Singer.
Nerds.
We're gonna avoid these hot topic issues.
No. I'm not getting into any hot tub topics with Bryan Singer. I'm talking about. I am literally talking about this. That they did do the soft reboot with First Class.
Yeah.
And First Class
It was good.
amazing.
It was great. I was
Right.
excited. And then
Bryan Singer had to come back in, and all of a sudden the movies stopped being inventive and awesome. Who directed First Class?
Matthew Vaughn.
Matthew Vaughn, who's so great, right? Mm-hmm. And then you get back to the Bryan Singer stuff, where in Bryan Singer's world, Mystique is the most popular, most important mutant in the world. And I don't know if you've ever read an X-Men comic, everybody. Mystique ain't that important.
No.
She's cool, but she ain't that important.
I think the actresses in both those things brought a little bit more popularity to those characters as well.
Well, yeah, because they were
Naturally.
new. And then with the J-Law thing, they struck gold.
Yeah.
Because they cast her, if I remember correctly, she got that role before the Hunger Games stuff broke.
yeah, she did.
Right?
She got it before she did that.
So
then
all of a
she
sudden
broke
they
out with
kinda-
Katniss.
They
So they,
kind of
like,
had
locked
to
her
make
in.
her the lead. And no one wants a world with Mystique as the leader of the X-Men. They just don't.
That's
It's
like
not good.
Nurturing new
world.
mutants.
Yeah,
That's
it's not good.
Mystique.
No, it's not Mystique at all.
No.
So I think that's where they lost the way. So then when Bryan Singer comes back, it becomes this mashup of the Matthew Vaughn continuity, which was great. And then,
He tries to
no,
put
we
his-
still need to tie in because the Bryan Singer stuff. And it's like, oh, God, just I wish they would have just stuck with telling the Matthew Vaughn versions of the stories. Maybe not even him as director, but just stayed in that.
That specific
Stay in that
storyline
world.
would stay in that
instead of-
lane.
Yeah, just instead of bringing in the Bryan Singer-ness of it.
We're going to take a quick moment to talk to you guys about Blastosaurus. As you guys know, we are in the epic, legendary Golden Apple comic.
Golden Apple coming! 40 years celebrating this year, and what better way to celebrate 40 years of Golden Apple comic books than with a Golden Apple comic book? This is Blastosaurus, the story of a sentient dinosaur who gets in precocious trouble with a couple of kids, and they go on a crazy, madcap, imaginative adventure. Did you know Blastosaurus was the #1 comic book in New Zealand? For
People in New Zealand have great taste. If you're going to check out some free comic book day, there is a Blastosaurus annual that you guys should check out.
It'll be available at Free Comic Book Day at retailers everywhere.
It's free. It's a free comic.
Totally free.
If you are not shopping in the greater Los Angeles area or not coming to Golden Apple Comics here on Melrose, this is available at every comic shop.
Ask your local comic shop dealer to buy it. It's in Diamond, and it is fantastic.
Support Golden Apple Comics.
You quit holding the book in front of your face.
So during a 60 Minutes interview, George R.R. Martin said that they could have gone 5 other seasons with Game of Thrones if they had been a little bit more loyal to the books.
Okay. Well, did he say that as a slam or just as like a literal?
No, I don't think he was really slamming it. He said that their ending would align with his ending.
Yeah, I have no idea if he was complaining about it. He better not complain. He's a very rich.
I do think there's a clear difference in the storytelling in Game of Thrones when you look at the last few seasons, and it's very clear that okay, we got money, we have a lot to wrap up. It's time to get to it, and you can see the pacing is very different compared to the earlier seasons versus the later.
Yeah, they want to go out on a high note, not Walking Dead it, and just kind of.
Girl, we can't even talk about that.
And I feel like the dialogue too was a lot cheekier. Once everyone was a little sassier.
Right.
Everyone.
Once they got money.
Well, once they got beyond the R.R. Martin stuff.
Well, I mean that's because
it was just a little more I lost a hand and slept with my sister. Hey,
Well, you can have a little bit more fun with that. If you don't have a specific script or story to go with, you can kind of have some fun with it because you have a feel for the characters, you have a feel for where the story's going. Yeah. Now you can have fun. You can play with it. He doesn't have to be she would never say that. She will. It's 2019. She's doing it now.
Right.
I am hoping by the end of this season of Game of Thrones, we get a brand sex scene.
Okay.
Well,
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Him and the Ice King get it on.
I think he is the Ice King.
He's totally the Ice King.
He's totally the Ice
As
King.
much as I would love to talk about this brand Ice King sex scene and expand on it.
I'm gonna be the nerd to remind you that it's the Night King and not the Ice King.
That's a
Just gonna be that nerd.
Well, I'm gonna be that guy and say, let's get real. It's the Sex King.
From one sex king to another sex king, Palpatine returning to the Star Wars franchise.
Oh my God! You don't know what's under that robe.
Have they? So they've talked about this, right? Abrams even said, or even the producer, the head of Lucasfilms, was talking about this has been the plan all along. Is she full of shit? As much as we're all super excited.
She said that they planned it.
They said that this was the plan all along, and that it just seemed they knew
open.
that in this episode they were going to bring back Palpatine. Is that bullshit?
If it's not bullshit, then that's all the more reason to never hire Rian Johnson to make another Star Wars movie again.
I loved Last Jedi.
Me too.
Yep.
And I am sorry to all of the Star Wars fans that cannot just let it go. Look, the thing you love, Star Wars.
I don't know if you want to go down this route, but before we go further, be clear. There are people who dislike that movie for those ridiculous comic gate
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean,
Stargate.
chauvinistic reasons.
Oh.
That is not.
No.
I'm not on that side of the fence at all.
Oh, no, absolutely
not whatsoever. So let's go forward knowing that.
Yeah, you
I don't
better
care that there's a woman in the
please-
lead and
Yeah.
people of color are doing things.
Yeah, you better
Great.
set
I
that
think that's
disclaimer.
Great.
Staring.
I can continue
Are you
to
a
stand
fan?
here. I have gotten that before.
But what's your
So
Yeah.
that aside, if you want to pass the torch, which is great, you have to save that for the third movie of the final trilogy.
All Star Wars is literally just the Skywalkers effing up the galaxy.
Yeah.
Their family
But
drama
that's
out
what-
there
that's
for
what-
everyone to deal with.
That's right, but that's
it's
what
the
movies
entire
are.
thing. That's
So
what it is.
You
Messy.
need to wrap that
It's
up.
such a messy family.
And the
Skywalker's
Last
getting their dirty laundry out
Jedi
there.
is saying basically, let's just get to all the whatevers and treat the entire trilogy like garbage.
Here's the thing, though,
It just
too,
is.
that you have to remember. This isn't about what the fans want. This isn't about what is accurate to the characters. This is about, at this point, giving them what they want, but I also feel like you have to please Hollywood to a certain point. I do think there's a level of them having to be like, oh, let's not do this, even though this would be great and the fans would love it. Let's do this instead for a lesser effect, but it'll make the boss happy. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
if they could do whatever they want and do what the fans want, I mean, these would just... We wouldn't even be sitting here having kind of arguments.
You're
Be
not
like, it's
supposed to
amazing,
give
right?
fans what they want. You're supposed to give fans what they don't expect they want.
Right.
And, absolutely.
And that's
And
hit or
that's
miss.
what I-
It's very hit or miss.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's very hit or miss when you're playing that kind of game
Yeah.
because you don't know.
Okay, Joe, worst endings in most overhyped comic books.
The worst ending in a comic book for like a run was in the Electric Superman Red Blue series from the late 90s, early 2000s. No, they made a big deal about splitting Superman into he had got electric powers and he was colored blue and colored red. They each had different personalities and they for about 6 months they had their own adventures. And just like a lot of the stuff that's corporate driven, like, oh, we got a movie coming out or this coming out, they needed to get Superman back in his normal look.
But it was I remember it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, this was like
so they did a crossover called the Millennium Giants, and it crossed over between all the Superman books and Challengers of the Unknown, and I think there was one other book it crossed over with. And at the end of it, Superman is fighting. There's a bunch of these giant creatures that came to life on the planet Earth, and literally Mother Earth, which was not a character at all, just the planet Earth. Superman expended so much energy, like he sacrificed himself, and the planet said no, we need you, Kal-El.
Oh, God.
And all of a sudden, the next issue, I am not kidding. The next issue, he was back to normal, and they were because everyone's like, Superman just died, and then he's like, no, I'm back, Mother Earth. Hey, what's up, everybody? It is legendarily the non-answer to how did he get. There's no good reason that he healed.
That's an amazing reason.
There's no good reason.
Mother Earth.
Mother Earth.
Mother Earth, she brought him back.
Yeah, so that's the worst thing.
Endgame. Endgame, big culmination, right? Let's talk a little bit about what are the amazing things that Marvel has done over the past 10 years. Because it could all be crap after this.
Oh my God!
Let's enjoy it right now. So some of the highlights in the moments, television, film that Marvel Cinematic Universe has brought us.
Overall, I just want to say it's allowed. I felt more free to be a nerd. Like I used to research stuff and look up stuff and read and watch all sorts of really nerdy comics and Marvel and DC and everything in the privacy of my own home. But it's cool now. Yeah. This is the thing, which I think overall is really dope. I love that there's a lot more representation coming out now. Yeah. I love that Captain Marvel has made so much money, and I love that Black Panther made so much money, and that was something that a decade ago I don't know we could have banked on. They're like, oh yeah, if this movie comes out, people will go see it and support it. But I was visiting my mom a couple of months ago, and she had Black Panther on DVD randomly, and I was like, what? I don't think you've ever seen the Marvel. Great, this is fantastic. This is how beloved this whole thing is. And I love that when I think about the stuff that I watched as a kid and what inspired me to get where I am now, and the stuff that the kids today are watching, I'm really, really excited for the future.
One thing too, props. Marvel invented that after credit scene. Literally, anytime you go to a movie now, and you assume,
they mastered it.
Who else had an after credit scene before?
Yeah, Ferris Bueller.
Oh, come on,
yes.
Oh wait, that doesn't count.
Masters of the Universe.
Are you out of your mind? That doesn't count.
Skeletor pops up right at the end. Yes.
Ferris Bueller, baby. Ferris Bueller comes out of the shower. That's the king. That's the king of all stinkers.
But I'm saying now, like I said, anytime you watch a comic book movie, we know to say.
Of course, they defined it for the genre. Absolutely.
They defined it. In the last 10 years, they've created something that's hey, now we're all gonna pay attention, or not nobody pays attention to the credits still.
My bladder is so full, and I'll still stick around.
I'll stick around here for these endings that, like I said, all comic book movies do now.
Yeah.
A little sensitivity here, bub. Some of us just got laid off.
If you're gonna read the comics, at least put your claws away, bub.
Claws are always out, bub.
Do you know anything from Les Mis?
You're a dick.
Out of all the things we talk about, Star Wars, Game of Thrones, X-Men, Avengers, Endgame, who is killing the game in the world of cosplay right now?
I don't even know if there's enough time in the world for me to go through all of the amazing people that I've seen and met and have been impressed with. I will say regarding Star Wars, Cheyenne Jazzwise official. Cheyenne does probably one of the most amazing Black Princess Leias that I've ever seen. I think my favorite thing about it is that the buns aren't like cinnamon rolls, they're little afros, and she just embodies this, and she just looks so badass in her cosplay, and she just makes me want there to be a spinoff of her as Leia. Joanne Lynn Burt, she does a lot of Disney princess stuff, but her Game of Thrones is stunningly beautiful, right after all of the dragon smoke has dispersed with the little one, her Daenerys Khaleesi is flawless. For Marvel, all cinematic universe, a gentleman named Shelby, and he does probably, I feel like he could be Chris Evans' double. He looks that good. His outfits are that good, and his girlfriend Shannon does a Bucky that matches his Captain America. And she also does a Black Widow, but like blonde-haired Black Widow. And her handle is Scumbabe, if you want to follow both of them.
Hey, before I leave, you mind if I leave a resume?
Yeah, we really don't hire your kind around here.
You got something against mutants or something, bub?
Canadians.
John Tracy, Game of Thrones, Star Wars, Endgame. Who's got the goodies out there for the merch? For the
Oh, the best collectibles by far, it's Avengers, the new Hulkbuster from Avengers Infinity War. So it's a 1/6 scale figure, it's giant. They have a more expensive version from the older movies, but the new one, they actually made it a little bit cheaper so people could buy it, so it's about $450. The old one was $1,000.
Jeez.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to Here's the Issue. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and share with all of your nerdy friends. Check out Golden Apple Comics, check out Blastosaurus.
Check out me at Amanda PartyPoison on Instagram.
Check me out at VonDexterM.
The Joe and Joe podcast, the best G.I. Joe podcast around.
And I don't need any followers.
And then you can check out the Hollywood Wolverine.
You can find me on Instagram at Hollywood Wolverine, also on YouTube under Anger Anonymous.
Bye-bye. I don't, that's fine.